going on, New York Giants fans, New York Yankees fans? Welcome back to this video. If you guys haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn that notification button on so you get notified when a live stream pops or a video drops. Once again, thank you guys who came out for the draft stream. We take all questions, NBA, NFL, and MLB. In this video, I'm actually going to be combining two topics. I apologize for the combination, but I do not have a lot of time on my hands. I wasn't going to neglect the Yankees community once again because I feel like, over the past couple of months I've been doing that, not really doing much Yankees content. And then, obviously, the draft reaction to the Kadarius Toney pick last night. I will include that later in the video. I do want to get the Yankee recap out first. So, Giants fans, please stay tuned till the latter part of the video. This video should not be that long, and I'm going to express my thoughts on all this stuff. So, the Yankees have split the series with the Baltimore Orioles. Let's go into game one real quick. I probably have to position myself this way because of the thumbnails. Let's pull it up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so first game, I was in Pennsylvania, but I still was able to watch to some capacity. Davy Garcia, his start looked worse with no run support within the first couple of innings. Cedric Mullins, I think, led off with a homer. Alongside that, Garcia, 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a homer. Obviously, that's Cedric Mullins' homer, 4.50 ERA. I know they're going to call him up because obviously the road trip is long. It's about 4 games in one set, 4 games in the other set. So they needed an extra starter. Why couldn't have been Michael King? I don't know, but I'd rather take Davy Garcia over Nick Nelson. Garcia struggled, but once again, the lack of run support till later in the game kind of played into that. Matt Harvey definitely stonewalled the Yankees lineup. I have another computer right here that will tell me how many strikeouts. 7 strikeouts, but 5 for Matt Harvey. But, strikeouts are not always the stat. He just completely stonewalled the Yankees lineup till the later innings. And then the Yankees, obviously that whole 8th inning, we'll talk about it, which we'll get into right now. Boone was ejected in the 8th in relations to that play at third and the run count thing. I have 2 viewpoints on it, kind of contradicting, but also on the opposite sides. Boone should have challenged it, knowing that maybe there was not going to be another play similar to that, and similar to the attention to that, if you will. I know I'm not really using the best of wording here, but there was probably no bigger play going to happen for the rest of the game. So I don't know why you wouldn't immediately challenge that. With that being said, though, the umpires should have looked at him and, given him the attention. And they didn't, and he got ejected. Which, hopefully that fires up the Yankees squad because they went 2-1 after that. But once again, they still lost that game. Stanton, Judge, and Urshela with the only hits. You can't have that. I mean, the rest of the lineup has to start hitting it in some capacity. They only had 4 hits the entire game. 2-homer game for Mullins, as I stated. The 1 home run was given up by Justin Wilson. Day gave up a run in the 6th inning. That wasn't the homer, though. Chad Green finished the game out. And that's pretty much it for Game 1. The Yankees did lose 4-2. That run, the extra run in the play where Judge was out at third, that did not count. The first run did. The second run didn't because of the play at third. If they would have challenged it, and if something, had happened there, I think that run may have actually counted. But to what standard? Because the Yankees did not do anything in the top of the 9th. Maybe the momentum would have changed. I don't know. So, with that being said, let's go to Game 2. Much better game. Corey Kluber on the mound for the Yankees. They won 5-1 in this one. One thing I'm going to point out of chronological order is this the Higgy coincidence? Because Higgy started this game. The Yankees got their first sac fly of the season. At least I think so. I know they're not they're a home runs and strikeout team, but they're not really for sac flies and hitting with runners in scoring position. So, with that being said, Gio Urshela, he had the first RBI of the game. As I said, 2 RBIs for him on the night. And the first RBI of the game on a sac fly. Corey Kluber, good start by him, I must say. 6.2 innings, pitched 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 Ks. This is his best start, and he gets a win. So I'm happy about that. Jonathan Loaiza gets the hold, and Lucas Ludwig gets to finish out the 9th inning. As I said, Corey Kluber earns the first Yankee win. Higgy coincidence. I saw a thing. I think it was before this game, or it was before one of the games in the series. The Yankees are like 5-12 when Sanchez is behind the plate, and they're like over 500. I think it's like 5-1 with Kyle Higashioka behind the plate. It's not really due to hitting. I think it's more geared towards pitching, definitely. It has to do with like signs and the way that pitcher communicates with the catcher. We obviously know that Garrett Cole communicates better with Kyle Higashioka than Gary Sanchez. I'm not on the train right now. Well, not on the train, but I'm not convinced that Aaron Boone will make a change at catcher because, he's been reluctant to do that in the past. Don't think it's going to happen. With that being said, Kyle Higashioka is trying to prove his point of, hey, I'm the starting catcher on this team. He hits a homer along with Judge and Stanton. And finally recap it off, 2 RBIs for a shell on the night. 5-1 Yankees win. Let's go to game 3, which also was started by Kyle Higashioka. See if we can find it over here. And that I can. Let me scroll this down a little bit so you can see the stat line. Okay, so Herman did well in this one, and this is probably his best start on the season if you're one-upping the start in Cleveland. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, 4.05 ERA, 6 strikeouts, and Michael King obviously finished. Honestly, I don't know why, just referencing that, because were there other starters? I mean, King is more of a guy where you're going to use him just to save your starter's ass, if anything like that, because, maybe a starter does bad and you need length from the bullpen. Michael King is that guy. It's not like Nick Nelson goes into for 2 innings. They're kind of using him, or both of them, I should say, Nick Nelson and Michael King, kind of cross-reference to each other, kind of opposite, because, Michael King's more of a depth guy in terms of going how many innings, and they're using Nelson for that when he's up in the big leagues. It's weird. That's analytics for you guys. Game 3, Mike Ford goes Oppo Taco. I compare him to Dan Vogelback all the time and some other power first baseman. He's not all the defense. He's not going to hit you a single or a double. He's not that guy. He's not LeMahieu who's going to hit you the home run and strike out. But once again, I do appreciate when he does hit the homer. Yankees capitalize in the big 4th inning. Gio Urshela hits a 3-run bomb. Frazier hits his first home run of the season. Very happy about that. I know a lot of people were complaining, oh, Frazier's not driving in runs. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for the young guy. He finally gets his chance, and he's slowly starting to prove it. I mean, you're not going to get, 14 homers in the first 14 games right away. Herman wheeled and dealed, as I explained the stats earlier. I'm very happy for him. I know a lot of people were hating on him coming into the season with the locker room stuff. But I'm always rooting for a player to win. I'm not rooting for a player to lose. Once again, is this the Higgy coincidence? I don't know. I think so. I don't know if it's coincidence. We'll see what happens, but it seems like Higgy is the better catcher in terms of when it comes to communicating with the pitcher. And if the Yankees still feel that Sanchez is a power bat, maybe they play him at DH, but that's not smart because what if Higashioka gets injured? You're going to have to take the DH out. You're going to have to put Sanchez at catcher. And with that being said, you'll probably have the pitcher bat, which is what the MLB, or at least what the MLBPA wants to do in terms of putting in the universal DH. But once again, pitchers would have to bat still if you took out the DH and switched positions. So with that being said, let's go to the final game of this set. Okay, so Jordan Montgomery, I feel like his stuff wasn't there. Looking at the stats, just watching the game, I know Sanchez was behind the plate, but 5 innings, only 1 strikeout, 1 homer, 2 earned runs, 6 hits. I just feel like his stuff wasn't totally there. It wasn't all his fault. I mean, the run support was in the first couple of innings. Chad Green, then Darren O'Day allowed the go-ahead run. Chapman, and then Loizaga allowing that run in the bottom of the 10th. As I said, the average to below average start from Jordan Montgomery. Yankees rally in the 5th on a Odor 2-run single. O'Day allows the go-ahead run in the 8th. Glaber ties it up with an RBI double. Chapman strikes out the side in the bottom of the 9th. You need to give him, not too many days of rest because if you do that, he comes out and he starts throwing everywhere. His velocity is good, but in terms of command and control, it's not. So, but he was very good. On like 5 days of rest it was. Very good, struck out the side. Yankees make the advantage or disadvantage. I forgot to add it in there, but it's part of the point I just brought up. Mike Ford struck out. There was another out committed. Why would you bunt on 2 strikes, Tyler Wade? That's like common sense. I swear to God, it's like the Yankees, when they use small ball, they don't even do it correctly. Like, what's the mentality? What's the common sense behind bunting with 2 strikes? What, you're gonna try to push it fair? No, you try to swing. Doesn't make a lot of sense. It's just, why do they keep him up here? Why do they just not teach? Listen, do small ball or not small ball, I don't care. Personally, that's just me. But the thing is, like, at least if you're going to do it correctly and do it not stupidly. I mean, that's a lack of better words, but don't do it like you're stupid in the head. I mean, come on. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Cedric Mullins attacks the Yankees again, hits a walk-off sac fly, and the Yankees are now tied for second to last in the AL East with the Baltimore Orioles. So, as far as this series go, we face the Detroit Tigers tonight. So we'll see what that happens, but they're going to be competing with the NFL draft, at least day 2 of the NFL draft. With that being said, I'm going to go into a mini Giants recap of the first round in terms of the Kadarius Toney pick. I was surprised. I'm not even going to tell you that I wasn't surprised. I was surprised. Not going to deny that at all. I was like, Kadarius Toney, that's interesting. And I've seen a lot of reactions from YouTubers like Bobby Skinner from Talking Giants, Bangle, who's got like 300K subscribers on YouTube. They were all surprised. And trust me, surprised here. I'm surprised that they traded down. That was a good thing. Now, you could say, oh, and I know a lot of Giant fans just want to complain, which obviously I pointed out on Twitter last night. I said, listen, obviously the Giants fans, think that Dave Gettleman made a bad pick with Kadarius Toney, but it's Gettleman's fault now. It's not Joe Judge. And you know what? I kind of saw this from a lot of people on Twitter. When Judge came out, or at least when beat reporters were leaking the stuff about what Judge said about Toney after the pick, everyone shut up. Everyone shut up. And there's this one guy on Twitter I actually unfollowed, and I kept pressing him because he kept making stupid comments on Twitter. I kept pressing him. He wouldn't reply to me. That just shows the hypocrisy of some of these people on Twitter. With that being said, Kadarius Toney, good slot guy, potentially Sterling Shepard's replacement, question mark. But, I know the Giants passed up on Rashawn Slater. They passed up on Micah Parsons. With that being said, if you listen to the beat media, one of the correct things they said this offseason, or at least heading into the draft, number one priority was not offensive line. So did that mean they like Slater? Not really, maybe, who knows. But if, the Giants fan base was rooting for Dave Gettleman to trade down, he traded down and got a nice haul. What was it? A fifth for this year, which we didn't have. Got a fourth for next year and a first for next year. So if the Giants are either good or bad next year, they get 2 first-round picks. You got to be happy with that. With that being said, going back to Kadarius Toney, he's got like an 80% catch percentage over the last couple of years, identical to Sterling Shepard catching from Daniel Jones. So if, Shepard is out or someone is out, Kadarius Toney's right there. You have to look at this offense and just say that it's so much better than in years prior. And I know you guys can call me a homer or whatever. I really don't care. But with that being said, this offense looks great. I definitely want to go after maybe an offensive lineman, an edge rusher with the 42nd pick, because there was a lot of edge rushers taken, more than I expected within the first round. Peyton Turner was one of them. Joe Tryon, Jason Owe. There was a couple others, Jalen Phillips. And just like some overall NFL thoughts, I think the Raiders reach on Alex Leatherwood. Now, I'm hypocritical here because I said about the Giants, maybe they didn't like Parsons. Maybe they didn't like Slater. With that being said, I'm going to go into the Raiders thing. And I always think the Raiders reach. Clelin Ferrell's one of them. Damon Arnett last year was one of them. This year with Alex Leatherwood, there was Tevin Jenkins on the board. There was a couple other offensive linemen, interior. Wyatt Davis you could make a case for. But Alex Leatherwood, I mean, if he's going to play guard, maybe I can understand. But there's a lot of tackles up there. Tevin Jenkins, Sam Cosmi's another, Jalen Mayfield. I think I'm forgetting another one, but at this point, I've listed enough to say that the Raiders reached. I don't think Jamin Davis was a good pick for the Washington football team. I think JOK would have been a good selection there, but Jamin Davis, I thought he was a little early. I would like that better than if I was a Raider fan in terms of selecting Leatherwood, because I think Jamin Davis, he's caught up on draft boards. He's risen up on draft boards, while Leatherwood's basically a late first, early second. And I just really think that they kind of reached there. In terms of the Jets picks, because Sean and Luca were obviously on the stream, in terms of the Jets picks, obviously Zach Wilson 2 overall. I really like their trade up for Elijah Vera Tucker. I think that, they were scared that the Cardinals or some other team was going to take him. I thought the Giants, if he was there, that they would have taken him. But in that case, they made a good trade up, and I will compliment them there. They made a good trade up. That's just, that's my opinion. And I think it's going to be a fact sooner or later because maybe he's a good guard for the Jets. And I don't speak positively of the Jets. And he's selling that Jamal Adams jersey over there, even though, he bought it and everything. And, he was, oh my God, Jamal Adams is such a baby the last season. But with that being said, I'm going to quickly go on the Steelers one. I expected somewhat Najee Harris to be their pick at, 24 overall. I really think they should have selected a lineman. I give that, B minus, C plus. And listen, they needed a running back. There's no doubt about that. Najee Harris is a good running back. With that being said, you needed some linemen on the interior. Marcus Pouncey retired. You got 3 tackles who didn't even come back this year. Matt Filer is one of them. What's the other one? Alejandro Villanueva. So you're going to stick with Chua Okafor and Zach Banner? Both right tackles, so it's going to be interesting to see what the Steelers do. And Travis Etienne, the Jaguars, what are they doing? The Philip Lindsay project again? You have a 1,000-yard rusher and you tend to replace him? And especially undrafted, like James Robinson, undrafted free agent, makes the commitment. He gets his body ready and stuff like that. Comes into the season, makes the roster with the tough advantages or disadvantages, I should say, with not having training camp and all this stuff. Well, not having training camp, but not having the mini camps and stuff like that for rookies. And then he busts out for 1,000 yards on a 1 in 15 squad, and you're gonna replace him like that? I don't know. It just doesn't sound right unless you're running some 2 running back duo. And I really think an offensive lineman would be a good pick there. Obviously, they start with 33 in the second round. So pretty much going to finish off this video. Thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing. Turn those notifications on so you get notified when a live stream pops or a video drops. Obviously, this was kind of a collage video, Yankees and the draft, Giants, that stuff. We'll be live again. I'll notify you guys on Twitter if I haven't already notified you guys, because this will take some time to edit and premiere. With that being said, I'll have the notification on Twitter when I'm going live, because unfortunately this happens to be the busiest week in my life in a long time. College, freaking DMV, that stuff, and it's got to interfere with the draft for some reason. But I guess personal life comes first. That being said, peace out, guys. We'll see you tonight.